In today's class, we are going to discuss about margin. We are going to learn what is margin and how it affects your trading. Okay? I suggest that every trader must know the meaning of the word margin and how it affects your trading, because a margin call is the most distressing call alert that a trader can receive from a broker. But wait, what is margin? How do we define margin? Okay, this word margin, how do we define this word? So basically and simply, margin is the amount of money needed to open a position with your broker. Okay, good. This is the amount of money, the amount of money needed to open a position. Okay, this is in conjunction with leverage that we had learned in our previous classes. Okay, so margin is used by your broker to maintain your positions. Okay, so I have a quick question. How does your broker use margin plus leverage to maintain your position? So basically, your broker takes your margin deposits, he pulls them with everyone else margin deposits, and then uses this one big super margin deposit to be able to place trades on your behalf. Okay, good. So there is a way that margin is expressed by different type of brokers. Okay, good. So margin is expressed as a percentage of the full amount of the position. Okay, so margin is expressed as a percentage of the full amount of your positions. Okay, so let's take an example. You have a trade which is worth $100,000. Okay, your broker may decide that they want an expression of only 1% of your margin. 1% of your 100,000 US dollars is only 1,000 USD. So with an account of 1,000 USD, you can be able to support a trade worth 100,000 USD. Okay, that is why we say that margin is expressed as a percentage of the full amount of the position. Okay, an example, most forex broker, they express margin and they require margin of around, there are some who needs 2%, there are some who expresses it as 1%, there are some who require 0.5%, and there are some who require 0.25%. So while choosing the broker to work with, it is very paramount for you to choose a broker that goes with a margin of your choice. It may be 1%, 2%, or 0.5%. Okay, so based on the margin required by your broker, you can calculate the maximum leverage, okay, that you can support your trading account. All right, for example, if your broker requires a 2% margin, okay, this is an example. Okay, if your broker requires a margin amount of 2%, what would be your required leverage? Okay, so then your required leverage will be 50-1. This will be your best leverage to work with. Okay, why are we keeping referring to the word leverage? Margin and leverage works hand to hand. Okay, Good. So the other popular leverage favored by most brokers are, if, for example, you are using a margin amount of 5%, your best leverage will be 20 to 1. Okay. What if your margin is 3%? Your best leverage would be 33 to 1. Okay. What the 2 by 50, if it were 1% margin, your best leverage would be 100 to 1. Okay. What about 0.5? 0.5%, your best required leverage would be 200 to 1. Okay. What about 0.25%? 0.25%, your required leverage will be 400 to 1. Okay. So you can definitely see the relationship between margin and leverage. Okay. So these two terms go hand in hand. Okay. Any questions? Good. So you will come across other terms related to margin, okay, in your trading platforms. These other terms, they are like account margin, used margin, margin call, usable margin, okay. And if you're not very careful, they will confuse you. But I'm going to try my best to simplify each one of them in order that you may understand them better. All right? Good. So if you are done with this, we may rub or we may use this space. So the first term we said was account margin. Okay. We are going to study what is account margin. So basically, the account margin, this is another phrase for your trading bankroll. Okay. It is the total amount of money available in your trading account. Okay. So this will mean your trading bankroll. Okay. Or what is available in your trading account. Okay. Money available in your trading account. This is your account margin. Okay. Good. I want you to differentiate the second type of margin, which is called used margin. All right. There's another term called used margin. So what is used margin? From the word used, this is basically the amount of money that your broker has locked up to keep your current positions open. Okay. So your used margin, this has been locked up, okay, by your broker to keep your positions open. All right. Good. Just to explain it more, while this money is still yours, okay, you cannot touch it. You cannot withdraw it, okay, until your broker gives it back to you, either when you close that position in a profit or in your loss, or when you receive a margin call. That is when the broker will be able to release those locked up funds, because they were the one who were used to keep your positions open. All right. Get the difference between your account margin. This is like your account balance. All right. While your used margin, this is now the amount of money which were used to keep your positions open. They were locked up by your broker until either your open positions were liquidated. All right. or you get a margin call alert and maybe you blow up your account, or you close your account manually, or the broker will close those open positions for you. All right. Other term that is used in relations to margin is called usable margin. Okay, usable margin. So what is usable margin? From the word usable. Okay, so simply this is the amount of money in your account that is available to open new positions. Okay, so this is the amount of money that is available to open new positions. Okay, usable margins, from the word usable. This is the amount of money that is available in your trading account to facilitate you and be able to open new positions. Okay, so the fourth type of margin, we have this word margin call. This is what most traders fear the most. It is the most distressing call that you can receive from your broker. The margin call is, this usually happens when the equity in your account drops below your usable margin. We said that the usable margin, this is the amount of money in your account that will make it available for you to open new position. But when the equity in that same account drops below the usable margin, that is where we receive the margin call. All right, good. So what happens when you receive a margin call alert? What usually happens is that your broker will close some or all of your open positions. Okay? The dealing desk on your broker will close some or all of your open positions. If you had 2 or 3 positions, they may opt to close 2 and then leave 1 with some usable margin. But if this usable margin is depreciated too, it will get closed. You will blow that account and you will go back to demo trading. All right, good. So your usable margin will always be equal to equity minus used margin. Okay, so we are going to see how these terms relate so as to keep your trading positions open. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this and see the relationship between these 4 types of margins. Okay, good. So let us wrap this. So we are going to look at the relationship between the account margin, used margin, usable margin, okay, so that we may see how a broker comes to give you a margin call alert. All right, so basically what we are saying is that the usable margin equals or will always be equal to equity minus used margin. Okay, so what we are saying is that your usable margin equals to your equity. Please note this word, equity minus used margin. Okay, your usable margin, that which is available in your account to take new position, equals your equity minus your used margin. Okay, so therefore what we are saying is that it is the equity and not the balance that is used to determine your usable margin. All right, good. So your equity will also determine if and when you will get a margin call if necessary from your broker. All right? Good. So as long as your equity is greater than your used margin, you will not receive a margin call. What am I saying? That as long as your equity is greater than what? Your used margin, you will not receive a margin call. All right? As long as your equity is greater than your used margin, you will not receive a margin call. But when can you receive a margin call? So, as soon as your equity equals or falls below your used margin, then you will receive a margin call. All right? Just to express it, when your equity equals or falls below, okay, your used margin, you will get a margin call. All right? Getting a margin call, we are basically saying that you are nearly blowing your accounts. Okay? This is the relationship between used margin, usable margin, your account margin, and the margin call. Okay? We said that it is the equity in your account and not your account balance that really determines if and when a margin call is reached. All right? Good. Just to summarize what we have learned and to recap on margin, we have said that margin means trading with leverage which can increase risk and potential returns. All right? And that the margin is the amount, and it is usually expressed as a percentage of the size of your positions. And this will vary from broker to broker. All right? So we said that if you have a 1% margin, which is allowed by your broker, this means that you can control around 100,000 worth of currency, all right, with just 1,000 USD account. Okay? If your broker allows 1% margin, you can control 100,000 worth of currency with just what? With just $1,000 account. So in this case, the $1,000 account is the margin. Okay? So this is the usable margin. Okay? The amount of money that is needed to open this position by your broker. All right? So in this case, the broker is allowing a 1% margin. The leverage required here is 100 to 1. All right? Do you see this relationship? Good. So margin is basically the collateral or the security that a trader has to deposit with their broker in order to cover some of the risk that the trader generates for the broker. All right? Good. So margin allows trading with a fraction of the full trade value. Okay? So this was the full trade value, 100,000, but because of margin, you are allowed to trade that position with only $1,000 worth of accounts. Okay, good. You can also use a Forex margin calculator from my FX book to know the exact margin needed to open your trading positions. All right, good. So we have come to the end of our class today. We have learned what is margin and how it will affect our trading. And by now, I know you have some basic knowledge on how to apply margin on your trading. Any question, comments, additions? Good. So let us basically meet in our next class.